Happy Friday, my friends. Today's Friday vignette is going to be a wonderful one. First of all, I want to apologize for being away for a couple of weeks. I've taken some time off, kind of regrouped my mind, regrouped in my family, regrouped in a lot of ways, even in prayer, because I wanted to make sure that what I'm sharing with you comes from my heart. Everything I do has to come from my heart, because if it doesn't, it's not really worth it. So today's vignette is going to be talking a little bit about the storms in our life. A couple weeks ago, maybe less than that, the Midwest, and I'm sure everywhere else around us, got hit with some big tornadoes. 20 tornadoes, I believe, in fact, possibly more. And here's how it started. We were out and we were enjoying ourselves, and what happened was, it was beautiful outside. Then it got really calm. Then after it got calm, this big mother wind came through, and I saw a lady walking with her dog, and the dog was a puppy, and it was being lifted off the ground by this tremendous wind. And the lady's panicking, and she's got the leash on the dog, and the dog is kind of flowing up in the air like Dorothy did. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Toto, come back, come back. But you know what I learned? The Lord's in the storms. It doesn't matter where we are or what we're doing. The beautiful thing, the Lord is in the storms, no matter what happens. Was it scary? Sure, it was scary. I mean, there were winds like God only knows what the knots were when I'm flying around. But you know what? The Lord is in the storm. He was in the storm when he was on the boat with the disciples. And they were going about and the waters were bouncing up and down. And here Jesus is sleeping. You know, whoa, Jesus, wake up. That would be me, of course. Yeah, the waters are rough. Well, how would he not know that, right? So I guess I ask you this question. I had to ask myself too. When things happen in my life, do I think that God's unaware of what's happened in my life? Or is it just like we're separated by this wall? I'm down here and he's up here and you can't see that things are happening. Well, it's obvious he does. And the thing about it is, do I invite him into my storms? Now, the storms can happen in business. Situations can happen with clients. It can happen with coworkers, partners, anything can happen. It can happen personally with family members, people that you love. Some people betray you. Some people kind of deceive you. Others use you. And others love you. And it can happen personally too. Sometimes our own dialogue that goes on in our head can betray us. Our own negative thought process can really affect us. Because what we do is we don't allow ourselves to speak clearly to ourselves. And that's a problem. So when I'm talking about these storms, it's important for us to have the dialogue and what is going on in our mind. Now, how do we get to that point? We get to that point because we prepare throughout our day. If we start our day in prayer and we start our day trusting in the Lord that he has everything in control, number one, preparation. Number two, change the inner dialogue in our head. Change the way we speak to ourselves. Change the way we speak to others. Make sure that what we're saying to ourselves is positive affirmations. Not like, oh, I'm a good person and I'm great and I'm wonderful. No. God's got this. I know that I'm a child of God and I'm in his hands and he'll take care of everything. Think of yourself in that boat, right? With the disciples. And Jesus is saying, hey, don't worry, I'm with you. That's when I'm talking about the inner dialogue. Storms are going to come. They're going to pop out of nowhere. And whatever that storm is, whether it's in personal, business, life, spiritually, we have to have the tools in order to accommodate them and to handle them and to manage them. And a lot of times what we don't do is we're not prepared, but that's our fault. So if we took the time, even today, read scripture, say a prayer, talk to a friend, encourage a friend, and say, hey, are you okay? Are you going through something? When we give out to others, we receive so much back. Time and time again. God has proven that again and again and again. The more I give out to others, the more I encourage other people, the more I help them out, the more I pay it forward, I get so much back in return. My mind is blown. But that's the principle of our faith. Give and it shall be given back to you. Not just in monetary, But the joy of the Lord becomes our strength even stronger. So when we're in that boat and the crisis has come, it's okay. We can make it. Another quick story I'll share with you. A couple years ago, I woke up. My stomach was the size of a 4-month pregnant woman. I'll show you sometime in a picture. I was actually wearing pregnancy clothes, but I wasn't pregnant. And I was like, oh, I'm just bloating, kind of a thing like that. I've shared this before in other vignettes. But here's a storm came, right? And I was like, I'm just going to ignore this storm. I'm like, God take care of it. I'm just bloating, no big deal. Well, it was a big deal. It was a very big deal. It was an 18.5 centimeter OC tumor. And it was taking a big toll on my body. It was turning and torquing, as they call it, torquing, taking my organs with it and rolling around, right? 7 days it was out like this. The 8th day, right back to the size that I am today. So I didn't think anything of it. But when I found out the reality of the storm, okay, you got X amount of time, I was like, whoa, am I prepared for this? And I was. Why was I prepared for this? Because I've always been prepared. Why? I took the time long time ago to prepare myself for whatever storms come in my life. Discipline, order, structure, prayer, most of all. Get yourself in order so when the storms come, the Lord will show you how to manage it. It's like going into a file, right? You file all these things away in your life. Then when the time is right, storm comes. God goes back there, pulls out that file, says, okay, here's the game plan. This is what we did years ago. Let's do it again. And it doesn't matter what that situation may be. The other thing I want you to know is I do miss you. I do miss doing these vignettes. I'm glad I'm back. I had to take some time off and kind of reprogram the mind, right? Everybody needs to take time off. Be sure you're taking time off for yourself. And when you do, spend it in prayer. Spend it with your family. Spend it with friends and paying it forward and blessing them. So my friends, since I'm back, I'm going to put a little plug in. My podcast is coming out, and it's going to be Your Trash, Your Future. Now, the reason why Your Trash, Your Future is going to be very, very important is because we're not just talking about the household trash that's laying around, like a piece of paper, plastic cup, all those wonderful things that are going to be turned into wonderful products that are green and zero emission, zero carbon footprint. And we're going to actually have the patent holder of that technology process on our podcast coming up very soon. So stay tuned for that one. But we're also going to add in other things too. What's trash in your life? Could it be our thought process and the way we think about things? Could it be relationships that are not positive for us, that are not building us up and lifting us up? Are they tearing us down? You don't want to be in a codependent relationship. My goodness gracious. Such a time waster. Or is it how you think about yourself? I've always been told this, or I've always been told that. We're going to be addressing those topics on top of energy, green energy, not the solar and the wind so much, but about taking things like natural resources and making them zero emission, zero carbon footprint. Taking trash, household trash, landfill trash, and turning that into some incredible products through the patent process technology, who will be the inventor. He'll be coming on the show as well. We're also going to be talking to some people who have really had some hardcore struggles, and God got them through it. I'm so excited to be blessed by Stuart Turley and the Sandstone Group and them being our producers. So stay tuned, my friends. I will be praying for you through the week. Pray for me. That's how we encourage each other and pass it forward. And also, too, let's go pay it forward and help somebody else. Let's put a smile on someone else's face. Open a door. Share good news. Help somebody out. Share a smile. In closing, I always say, keep on smiling. The world is getting better. Believe me, together, our pearly whites are going to make the world a better place. God bless you. Talk to you soon. Stay tuned for Friday's next vignette. Bye-bye.